Hey everyone, Brandon Browning here. On today's Real Estate Minute, I'm going to show you an interview that I did with title attorney Billy Leach, and we're going to be talking about the topic of prorations, taxes, property taxes. How does that work inside of a real estate transaction? Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Brandon Browning here with eXp Realty. I'm here today at Professional Title right here in Denham Springs, Louisiana, and I'm here with Billy Leach, the title attorney here. And one of the things that we're trying to do is we've done a few of these interviews just to kind of educate the public on how everything goes inside a real estate transaction. So today we're going to talk about prorations. So Billy, how do the taxes get prorated inside a real estate transaction, a residential transaction?
Well, the Louisiana Real Estate Purchase Agreement requires that we prorate taxes for that current year. And the property taxes are assessed at the very end of the year. So a lot of times we're prorating based on something that's not 100% known or verifiable. So a lot of times what we'll do is we look at the previous year's taxes and compare that to the sales price of the property. And if there's a huge difference, if the property was assessed too low the previous period, then we will make basically a very close educated guess as to what the property taxes are going to be based on the sales price, and then also factor in the homestead exemption if the buyer is going to be living there as their primary residence and filing homestead exemption. So, it's not an exact science. But we can get it very, very close based on the sales price and also the time of the year. If it's earlier in the year, the assessor's office, at least in Livingston Parish and most other parishes, the policy is if there's a huge difference in the previous assessment and then now the new current value of the house based on the sales price, that they will change it for that year. So the earlier in the year, the more likely that it will be caught and changed. If it's at the very end of the year, they will not change it typically. So we will still prorate taxes based on the previous year, anticipating that it stay the same, but we'll escrow taxes for the new buyer based on the higher estimated amount for the rest of the loan. So.
Okay. So what, I have a question now. So what typically happens, so let's say that it doesn't come in exact, and let's say the taxes were more than that y'all had estimated. What happens with that?
Well, we have a tax proration agreement that the parties sign at closing, that if there's a difference or if it's not what it was estimated to be, that the parties will handle any readjustments between themselves. And I explained that at closing, especially if we're not certain how the taxes are going to be assessed at the end of the year and if there's some question or gray area. And we had to do that this past January. We call parties and say, okay, hey, the property taxes came out a lot lower, and the seller gave too much of a credit, or vice versa. And for the most part, the parties, they understood. They remember us talking about that, and then they would adjust that between themselves, and we help out with that as much as we can. But again, it's not an exact science that happens, but we try to explain that ahead of time, knowing that that's a possibility in some circumstances.
Okay, all right, perfect. Well, that answers our questions. Now, if somebody wants to reach out to you regarding with property taxes and how anything like that that nature works, how will they get in contact with you?
They can call us here at the office, 665-7700, or they can email me to billy@ptitleinc.com. And I'd be happy to answer questions or my staff if I'm not available.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for watching. Again, this is Billy Leach with Professional Title in Denham, and I'm Brandon Browning with eXp Realty. Until next time, be blessed.
Have a good one. Take care.